Mind Gap Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Justin. And Doug, how hard do you think it'd be to land a plane?
Be really fucking hard to land a plane.
Cool. Moving on.
Without the proper etiquette, I think is probably the first thing that comes to mind. You gotta know the right call signs. You know, you gotta say the right things over the speakers. You know, over the mics.
But if you had someone, if you radioed to the ground, right, and you said, "Hey, I'm Doug. The pilot's dead. I'm the only one that's conscious in the plane because everyone had the fish and they passed out, and I didn't eat that, and I'm here and I can land this plane if you walk me through it." You think they'd make you use the call signs?
I think they're gonna be like, "All right, you big fucking idiot. Here's step one. All right." I'm gonna be like, "Lay it on me, big guy."
You big fucking. I would love it if the tower was like, "All right, let's start here. You
like,
fucking
fuck.
idiot."
Wait, how many are left alive? Just you? I don't know. Give it your best try. Give it your best
good
shot.
luck. Yeah.
If everyone else is
I don't
dead,
know, you ever played Top Gun on Nintendo?
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Good luck.
Oh, you play X4 Foundations, huh? Oh, but you use the auto docking protocol. You upgraded that, so well, I don't know, man. I don't know.
But do you think you could land one if you were in dire straits? Do you think you could
with
talk
instructions?
through it?
Maybe, but I don't even want to put a fucking bookshelf together from IKEA. I hate driving a car. So, like,
you know what? You are a unique use case when it comes to this question because, you don't like driving a car. You really don't like putting things together, building like Were you ever a Legos kid or a Lincoln Logs or anything like that? Or
I did play with them, but nothing like there's not a core memory of me doing it.
Right.
So I'm like,
you're not like a Lego freak, like Bob, who's been on the podcast before.
Jared.
He's a Lego nut.
Gets hard for Legos. So,
there you go. Right.
Yeah. No, I'm like, whatever. Yeah, that sort of stuff. I've when you get on a plane, you look in there, you're like, wow, look at all those knobs. That's a
lot to look at.
Look at all those buttons and fuck, I don't know. I also, it's just like, God help me if it's a windy day with a crosswind, or like, the crab landing that you have to do, where basically you have to go perpendicular to the runway to combat the crosswinds. It's like, fuck.
Like how the new Hummers drive.
Yeah.
They do the crab walk thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. You got to do that, but with a plane.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's icy. Oh, good. Like it's rain. I can't see shit. Awesome. Even if it's on a perfect day, I'm still going to be like, fuck, I don't know what I'm doing.
I think I could get close, but in the end would 100% kill everyone on board.
I mean, listen, will it land? It'll land.
Look, can I bring this plane down? Yes.
It'll come down to Earth. No problem.
Short answer, yes.
Guaranteed. Safely? I don't know.
One piece? When it first hits the ground, yes.
I'm going to need the person on the other end to be extremely patient with me, basically, is what I'm going to need. Because I'm be like, I don't know what the fuck. I'm going to have all sorts of self-doubt, self-confidence issues. And,
Do you think it would be easier on is that like a biplane or like one of those, those smaller prop planes?
I don't know. That sounds like it'd be even worse to some degree.
You think so?
Because it's so small. Like, I've heard Bill Burr talk about when he's like flying helicopters and shit. He's like, the little thing that he's in, he's like, oh my God, like this thing the wind just blows it everywhere. He's like,
so you think it might be a benefit to have the weight of a 747 behind you?
Also, what are the circumstances that I'm in just a little biplane? That to me scares me enough as it is. Like, what am I doing in there? It seems more likely I'd be in like a 737 than like a biplane.
Well, I mean, let's figure out what circumstance would you be in that. Let's say Mind Gap. There was a real rich guy who was like, I want you to do a live stream from my private island. The only way to get there was to take one of those puddle hoppers. And then you and I were in there and the pilot got knocked out or died. And it's just you and I. And I was like, Doug, you got to do this. We talked about it. Now it's time. I think that's the
This scenario is amazing because I have so many
I know.
questions. I'm like, some rich guys bring us to his private island. I'm like,
I got the answers.
That sounds like a Knives Out situation or a Glass Onion sort of situation we're walking into over there. And I'm like, I don't know.
We've done deep background. We know it's not anyone related to Jeffrey Epstein. So the island is clean. We know that.
Yeah,
okay.
We've done
island.
it because we have endless resources to check these people.
Look, the Mind Gap community
Based on the Patreon
community.
funds that are coming in here, I mean, we might be able to find out their email address, but other than that, we won't even know if that person's a bot on the other end.
I don't know, man. In the email, he said he wanted to be a benefactor. So
how can we say no?
I don't know. It sounded real legit on the email.
Yeah, his name was like
there's a profile picture and everything.
His name was like Todd or something at Big Pond, I think is something what it was, something like that. He's like, hey, come hang out, and then he just never emails back.
Right,
something like that.
Hey, if you're listening, Todd, Tom, whatever your name is, we're still waiting for the email.
Just waiting for those contracts, bud. Just
waiting for those contracts.
Send them over whenever. Thanks for wasting our time.
And if we needed to, we would hop on a plane and come see you.
Yeah,
you just
and we'll record it, and then we'll see which one of us rock paper scissors who lands the plane safely.
If you and I were in a plane and that happened, and we had to figure out who was doing it, how would we decide? Would it be rock paper scissors?
I think.
Would we wrestle in the back of the plane?
I think with your support and the support of an expert on the headset, I think I could do it.
Oh,
if you helped me,
just like rubbing your shoulders, be like,
no,
got this big guy.
It's like we're on together, and like together. I think we could figure it out. I think we could do it.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
If we're both like working on it, there's like, there's a manual in there. You get out the manual, you lick your thumb because you're weird, and you start going through the pages. Trying to find the right page.
I love that you clocked that.
And I'm like, ugh, gross. You don't know where this plane's been. You're like, ugh, I got to get the. Your thumb's not sticky enough from the sweat already?
It's so dry in here, Doug. It's
so dry. No, it's not.
We're in the mountains. We're so dry.
Private island in the mountains? That's where we're going?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
The topography is just, it's all over the map. Yeah. There's a beach.
This story doesn't check out.
Yeah, it's funny because when I'm talking about it in my head, I'm like, we're in a snow-capped mountain for some reason.
The movie Alive. You familiar with it?
It's an island. But it's an island up north. I didn't specify.
Oh, great.
Yeah, way north.
You always just seem it's warm, but there's frozen islands.
There are.
You ever heard of Greenland? It's for sale, I hear.
It's right, exactly. By the way, did you hear the response from? Was it someone from? I can't remember if it was a Denmark official or someone.
I think it was. Go say it. I think I know what it was, but go ahead and tell me.
It was basically he just said basically it's like another way to say it. Fuck off, Donald Trump. Fuck off.
Oh, I heard when they talked about invasion, they're like, there's something along the lines is we'll be happy to rescue them when they arrive because it's such an inhospitable place.
Well, I have to pull this up. Hold on.
Yeah.
Danish official explains. Yeah, there it is.
Suck my dick.
Local Denmark. It was such. He gave a whole thing. He's like, it's been part of our. It's been part of Denmark's for 800 years. It's been a part of the Republic of Denmark or whatever. And then he said it's not for sale. What are we doing here? Why are we doing this? Fucking.
I'm on pins and needles.
It's not for sale. Let me put it in words you might understand. The ad keeps coming up here. Let me put it in words you might understand. Mr. Trump, fuck off.
He actually said that. That's awesome.
I watched the video and I'm like, you know what? This is the kind of politics I can get on board with.
Honestly,
let's just say what we mean.
That's what works these days. People don't want to hear a script. They don't want to hear talking points. They want to hear people speak real. So you know what?
Like if that's what we're doing, then the rest of the world come right back at us with that. Right. Let's just get real.
And anybody's like, oh, it's so improprietary to do something like that. It's like, yeah, well, you get what you get. Yeah, right in the asshole. Speaking of all that politics and shit, I'm officially off all social media, Justin.
You know what? Here, I'm going to give you one of these big old.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's what we call a humble brag. I've been wanting to do it for so long. And I think what I told myself was like, well, I got to do it for the podcast. And then after Zuckerberg basically was like, yeah, we're not going to moderate anything anymore and all this
No
sort of stuff.
fact checking.
And I fucking hate Instagram anyway. Always have. Always will.
So what? Because you didn't mind TikTok. So why the hatred for Instagram? And I'm not saying you're wrong by a long stretch. I've just never understood the distinction.
It's not the platform for me. I don't trade in pictures like that. That's not how I don't post pictures all the time of everything that I'm doing. And that's primarily what that platform is. It's photos. Of course, obviously it's transitioned to videos, and reels and things like that. That's not what I do. I haven't done that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, to me, I'm like, this is a useless platform for me. Obviously, if you followed us on Instagram, we never posted any fucking pictures ever.
No.
We never do.
It was our episodes and sometimes shorts.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, that was it. Because I was like, we just don't. Because what's going to be? Here's another picture of us fucking setup of us setting up our shit and be like, we're recording tonight. Like,
there's a few of them on there that you can find up our setup, and then there's like one or two when you came up here and we rode horses, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's like when we would occasionally get together in real life, that's it. There was no point to having an Instagram. So I just don't like that platform in general. I also know it's extremely harmful to especially young women and girls and things like that. It's terrible for that sort of shit. So I'm just like, no, don't. That was never my platform. So I'm like, that one was no problem. And TikTok, after they pulled their stunt where they shut down and they're like, President Trump's going to save us. And which is hilarious because that's not how the ban on TikTok works. For the record, TikTok is banned right now. If you go to the App Store, you cannot find it.
Oh, so the whole thing where he said, I'm going to lift it for 90 days, that I actually didn't hear
literally
about this.
Go on your phone right now. You cannot get TikTok on your phone.
Interesting.
That is the ban as it was designed. It shutting down was TikTok doing that it's pulling a stunt to make people be like, Trump is saving us. They did that on their own. And I was like,
I didn't realize the ban was going to still be active. It's just you won't
be able to download it, and it won't be able to be updated. I'm assuming. So eventually it'll become an absolute mess over time.
Interesting.
So and that's how it was supposed to work as intended. But this whole stunt, I was like, I'm not participating. I did the same thing when Twitter got purchased by Elon the Nazi.
You and I came off Twitter about the same time, and I was totally fine because I didn't use Twitter. I never really figured out I understood Twitter, but I never found my lane in Twitter. I could never come up with a quippy enough or an interesting enough tweet to put out there. So I was like, I used it for I would source some news and some like pop culture stuff from there, but it just never, similar to you and Instagram. I was like, I can't really find my niche in this zone, so it never was my thing.
I found some, I don't know if joy is the right word, but I found some entertainment in just hopping on there and just seeing what was trending and whatever, and just seeing what was. It felt like it was a pulse on the moment.
I found it very useful for local stuff. Like when we lived in the South Loop, there was a few times where like huge like 20 fire trucks would show up at like the Roosevelt Red Line, and I'd jump on there and I would do the hashtag South Loop or Roosevelt Red Line, and you could see people talking about it and be like, I heard it was this, or like you could get updates for local, hyper local stuff, which for that regard, like in that capacity, I thought it was very useful. But then it all starts to get tainted after a while.
Yeah. So I just don't want to be. I don't want to be a part. It's not like I don't have huge accounts or anything. I just don't want to be a part of any organization that is going to not moderate itself. That's going to allow misinformation, disinformation to proliferate. Yeah. And I don't want to support organizations that I don't agree with. So I'm just like, cool. Thanks for making this easy for me. I was like, deleted. I'm like, fuck. That's been great.
Congratulations on that, because I've thought about the same thing. Like I think I could, as much as I use it, the weeks that I take, like every once in a while I'll take like a week off and I feel fine, and I don't really like, I'll go back on like at the end of the week I'll jump back on and I'll spend 5 minutes and I'm like, I don't feel like, I've almost detoxed myself through the week, and then slowly I'll build back up into it, take another week off, detox. And so I think eventually I would be fine. I don't think I'd miss it that much. The two things that I would say I miss is there are a few people that I like, not close friends, but just tangentially just find it interesting to see what they're up to and kind of just see what they're posting, because they do some interesting stuff. So I might miss that, like feeling a little bit more removed from some of the people that, that have followed. And number two, I would say a second question for the episode is, do you think you can be a creative or have a creative, let's call it career, for lack of a better word, without some sort of social media presence?
I think
Because that's the other thing.
There's a narrow path to doing that. I think you have to be extremely successful in what you do to transcend to the point where other people are talking about you and sharing your stuff online, where you don't necessarily have to, but it has to be something. Either you've existed before the rise of social media, so you can just sort of like be and whatever, or you're just so incredibly successful at what you do that you don't necessarily need to leverage it to do anything. Person I think of is Jason Mantzoukas. I think doesn't have any social media. Fantastic actor, amazing comedian, incredible improviser. Like, just doesn't use social media, doesn't need it. Like,
right. But I think to your point, he got there before, like him, like Mark Ruffalo. Ruffalo's on there. Keanu Reeves is another. Like, there are people who have set themselves up, long before the advent of social media that are doing fine now. But if you're someone coming into the industry now, I think there is a level of self promotion that you have to do.
Yeah,
you've got to get yourself out there. And my concern with getting off of that is that when Drew and I put something out or when we finish something, I don't know how else to promote it or to get it out there without having some sort of, so it's almost a catch-22, and it's a gross position to be in.
It's like if you're looking for a job, you have to be active on LinkedIn. You have to be out there. You have to be posting. You have to be responding to things. You got to be active because you need people to see you. It's a fucking disgusting game, that you have to play. It's like, if you and Drew make a movie, you could have the 2 East 8th account, but guess what? You guys have to be interacting with people. You have to be generating stuff on the regular basis to generate. So it's not just like, hey, everybody, my stuff's here, and then you go quiet. It's like, hey, everybody, my stuff's here, and then you go quiet. That's why I struggle with a lot of Mind Gaps stuff, is because I don't have the time or the energy to just hop on social media and just engage with the community. I just don't. I don't have any interest.
And for me, if
that.
I'm doing it on my personal account, not on the Mind. Like, after I'm done with my personal one, to jump on Mind Gap and be like, all right, now I gotta spend some time as the Mind Gap entity. It's tough. That's why
there's a reason why there's jobs that exactly. There's a reason why jobs 100%. Exist to do that exclusively, because it takes all of your attention. It is literally a job. Yeah. And I kind of did it on Twitter, not really, but kind of. But I was just like, I just don't have the energy to do it. It's just, it's a lot. And plus online stuff is just a fucking mess. It's such a mess, especially these days. It's a fucking disaster. And I'll tell you this much, my poop's a lot quicker. Get through it all real fast.
I was going to say, have you found yourself, cause something that we've talked about on this show before is the lack of being bored and being bored generating ideas. Like a lot of people who came up with some of the best, stories in history or the best inventions did so because they just allowed their mind to wander and they came across this wonderful nugget of an idea and then they pursued it. Have you found yourself imagining more, being more creative, or daydreaming more?
I always daydream. But I didn't really, I would use social media while I was like waiting for a game to load on my computer. Like, cause my computer is 6 years old, almost 7 years old at this point in time. So it takes a while to load stuff. Yeah. So I'm just like, while it's loading, I'll just like pop on, do. And then, my game's up, and then turn it off or whatever, or I have to poop and do, stand there way too long.
Yes.
With that sort of stuff. So it's nice to know that like, I don't have to like, I'm just like, oh yeah, I can just go poop, or I can just like do anything else other than just look at my phone while my video games load or whatever. Like, I don't need to worry about it. I can, or just go do something else. Like it's nice to not have that. Like before I delete things, just like, did you get all your recipes? I'm like, fuck those recipes. I'm like, if I need to know how to make something, I'll just look it up somewhere else.
That's a fair point. Yeah. I had the same thought. I'm like, what about all the things that I've saved? And I'm like, you know what? When's the last time I've really gone back and looked at them? Like,
I don't know what exists in all my saved stuff. I don't fucking remember. I never look. I'm like, cool, I'll save and bookmark that. Never gone back and looked at them. So who gives a shit?
Same. Yeah.
It's so easy to find stuff for food and stuff like that these days. I'm like,
and I think we're in a position that's uniquely, it's unique that the younger generations, or the people who are coming after us, don't necessarily have, as we come from a time where we existed in a time where before social media. So we know what it was like before the internet. So we know what it was like to like, you go to the waiting room, your mom's or dad has an appointment, you go and you just sit there and you look at your feet, or you draw, or you look at a magazine, or you stare count the dots in the ceiling tile. Like we've done that. We've been bored out of our minds as kids. So it's not unfamiliar from us. We might have been unconditioned from it, but we can find our way back to that. The generations after us that are coming up that have never not had like a screen or entertainment like right there, it's going to be real weird for them when they if they were to try to do this. I think it's going to be a much bigger detox for them.
It's tough. I'm not here to judge other parents and things like that, but it always bothers me, like when I'm going grocery shopping and I just see a kid in a cart with some sort of device. Like,
sure.
Like I understand it's easy as a parent to be like, here, take this because you're annoying, because you're an annoying kid and this, whatever. But the handful of times that we've given Natalie a device, we've always told her, I'm like, this is unique. We're not doing this all the time. This is a special circumstance. You're going to exist in this moment with us because this is real life. Like,
yeah,
you know, there are times like when we went to go buy our new car, we brought the Switch and we're like, lock in.
You're going to need this. Yeah.
And it turned out to be a whole ordeal. And yeah, I'm glad we brought it and things like that. But for situations where, you know, we're going to go to the fucking dentist or we're going to the eye doctor or whatever, like,
right.
I don't get to I'm not pulling out my stuff and go, here you go, watch stuff. And I saw the funniest fucking thing. Natalie goes to a clay class with the local district. So every Thursday she goes to a class, just plays with clay, learns something about clay. I went to go pick her up and I see she's probably like maybe a 3-year-old, maybe. And she is watching something on her mom's phone. And the mom is playing on the kid's Etch-a-Sketch like toy. And she's drawing stuff or whatever, erasing, drawing. And the kids, and I'm just sitting there being like,
wow.
What are we doing?
Wow.
What are we doing here? Like, you gave your phone to your daughter, so you're bored. So you're drawing on her toy. And I was just like, this is hilarious and so upsetting at the same time.
That's
like,
wild, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I
absolutely wild.
Because to me, I'm like, having that, I have plenty of vices when it comes to like, I get sucked into a game. I'm fucking in that game, man. Like,
yeah,
I think about it. And all I want to do is play it. That's X4 Foundations has been ruining my free time right now. Between that and then at night, I hop on Marvel Rivals and play with the Discord people. So I'm doing a lot of gaming right now, and I'm obsessed with it. Right, I don't want to give that to my daughter, that obsessive nature of ooh, this is really fun, and to know that you have access to it all the time. It's at your fingertips. It's in your pocket. Like, I remember, you know, Nintendo was at home. It wasn't in our pocket. We did have the Game Boy, but the Game Boy, it wasn't that great. You know, it was fine. It was Game Boy and like
Game Boy was for road trips.
Exactly. It was like a road trip thing.
If we were going to the Quad Cities for the holidays or something, then I had my either my Sega Genesis or my Game Boy, and we were, or not
Game Gear.
Game Gear, that's what it was. Yeah. Had the Game Gear or the Game Boy, and we rocked and rolled with that. But outside of that, I was like, I'd rather be, you know, on the.
And the rule for us was, while we're on the road, do whatever you got to do. As soon as we stop and we get to the hotel, that shit gets put away. Like, we would never play it except while we were traveling. Like, that was the only
in the
time
car.
we would play it.
That's it.
In the car. That was it. On the plane, whatever. As soon as we land, it's done. It's put away. It never comes back out again. It was purely there and understood we're using this to pass the time. That's it. Nothing else. And it's, I don't know, man. I just worry because, you know, I sound very like I'm sniffing my own farts here. I'm like, I quit social media and I don't give my kid a phone when we go out. You know, it's like, whatever. We all have our issues. And I understand it. I empathize because I have one kid. Jill and I we have double team coverage on this child.
Yes.
You know, we don't have to do zone coverage when we have like 3 or something like that, you know? And I see that. It's like, you have 3 kids. You're going to be like, what is the easiest thing I can do in this moment? And, you know, it makes sense. I understand it. Long term, that creates problems because those kids just be like, they get what they want. And then especially with things like that, where we're like, God, I want to entertain all 3 of these kids at the fucking dentist. It's like, I don't know, man. At some point, they're going to have to reckon with that. You know, it's the bill comes due, baby. The bill comes fucking due. And you have to, it's either, in my opinion, you set them up for success now, or they have to learn at some point, or they never learn. Those are kind of the things. So
I think all kids need a subscription to Highlights magazine.
Yeah, we got that.
Highlights
was
my jam back in the day.
Same. I loved it. I loved that shit. Well, speaking of technology, apparently robots are going to race some humans at a China half marathon.
I'm so disappointed in this.
Two-legged droids will take on the 21.1 kilometer event for the first time in Beijing in April. So apparently humanoid robots from more than 20 companies are going to be competing in this race for the first time. So here are the rules with these things.
Tell me so I can make sure I can put my robot will qualify.
Right. They must have a human-like appearance. So like
yes,
above average dongs. And they have to basically must be capable of using two legs for walking or running. No wheels are allowed. They can be remote controlled or autonomous. And they also must be between 0.5 and 2 meters in height. Mid-run battery replacements are also permitted due to anticipated battery life limitations. The podium finishers, human or not, will be awarded prize money. So you are a runner, Justin. Imagine during the marathon, you're running and you see just coming up beside you is just a fucking droid.
I do one of two things.
Okay.
One, I try to jump on its back and catch a ride.
Yeah.
And just see can it take. And then number two, I say, how good is your internal? Was it the gyroscope? I tried to knock it over. I say, let's see how good your overlords were.
Yeah. Let's see how balanced are you? You know.
Yeah. I look at this and I go, why? To what end? Why are the robots entering the race? I don't understand. And if you've got a robot who's competing against humans, and they're going the person who built it's going to get awarded prize money. I say if you want to race, your droids, then fucking have a race, like make it even. Have a race where these robots are racing each other. I legitimately, I would probably watch that. That seems fun to me. But you're putting it against humans who have trained, who have worked really hard to do this, to set a personal best, maybe win the thing. And then you're putting a droid in there. You're putting a robot, which is just nonstop stamina. I don't understand what the need for this is.
Well, some of them have limits, battery limits,
That's, what? You're right. I'm sorry. I don't mean to disparage the robot's battery life.
Thank you. Yeah. Because, it is what it is. Because that's the thing, too. This is like, this feels like a cheat code. Like once it has a long enough battery life, it's like, okay, go.
Right. I understand. The article goes on to talk about, why there's an increased prevalence of robots in China. They've got an aging population. There's a surge in demand for machines to help out in the house, and this and that.
A surge in what? I'm sorry.
Demand?
No, there's a surge in what in the country? Is it machines?
Oh, there's a surge in demand for
machines. There we go.
In the country, yes, and. I get it. Like in that capacity, to help out at the home for aging. Sure, I think that's a great use case for these robots, for these bipedal humanoid-esque robots with gigantic dongs.
Gigantic, why not? Above average, not gigantic, above average. All right.
Sorry,
God, that looks so gross and phallic. Yeah,
I understand that use case. Why are we entering them? I want someone to give me a good reason that these goddamn robots are entering this race. I say no. No robots in the race, Doug. I'm a human purist when it comes to foot races.
I don't have an answer for you, but what I hope this is the start of the human v robot Olympics. Where
can you imagine?
We have the robots versus humans. It's like, it's less about what country you're from. It's like, all right, can we beat these fucking robots? You know what I mean? Like,
well, let me ask you this. Is there any event that you think that humans could beat robots in?
Currently, a whole bunch of them.
Okay.
Shot put. Yeah. to get a machine to generate enough like force and to do the physics to throw a shot put farther than a human right now, I don't think it could do it.
So are you saying this robot needs to have an arm that extends? Because you could just load up a robot that's got a little cannon on it.
No.
Like a mortar.
Doug, we have mortars exist, man. I just want to let you know mortars
that
exist.
technology is not new.
It's not. Cannons have been around a long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
I got bad news. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could set up to because
Just get
you
a
have to
robot.
consider it like
it's a Roomba with a cannon on top. So it's in the little circle, it doesn't spin, and then just thunk.
Yeah, I guess you could technically be like, all right, it enters into the ring and goes this little trebuchet. Just
I'm just saying. So it needs to. The rules would
Point
have
taken.
to state that it
Point
needs
taken.
to have an arm, right? Like humanoid in nature. It needs to be like. The
I mean,
rules
if
for
it
this thing.
is like humanoid nature and it's not just like, yeah, here's this machine that exists, this technology that's existed for hundreds of years.
Here's a Roomba with a mortar on top.
Yeah,
Done.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it is humanoid and it has to do that, it would be extremely complicated to
That I
program
agree.
a robot to do whatever it is that humans do for. That's a very complicated thing. Gymnastics, fucking pole vault. Good luck. Swimming.
Swimming, I feel like you could.
You could,
'Cause
but
that
here's
thing
the
could
thing.
just-
Here's the thing. They could, but how the turn? You know what I'm talking about? Because they go hit the wall. You know, you gotta train them to do the flip, and that stuff.
Also, something I would pay to
That
see.
stuff is very technical. You know,
That well, I mean, I don't know,
100%.
man. Like with the sensors.
if it's just a 50 meter like sprint, it just go. Dunk.
then just oil starts leaking out from it, from its
Right.
casing.
Because again, there's definitely also different strokes. There's like the freestyle. There's a breaststroke.
True.
There's
That's
a butterfly. There's backstroke. So getting it to do all of those things, effectively, I think it would be challenging. Not to
That's
mention
true.
you got to deal with the water stuff as well. Water seeping in. You got to make it water resistant.
Yeah, because I think about gymnastics. Like you've got those. Was it Boston Dynamics or like they've got the robots who are doing it. Like it almost looks like AI or CGI when they post these videos. Like these robots are insane what they can do now, and so I think they could absolutely compete in gymnastics. And if they can do that kind of movement with gymnastics,
I don't know if they'd qualify for the Olympics at this point in stage.
let me roll that back. I think they could absolutely compete at a junior high level.
There we go.
If it's a robot versus a junior high gymnast, that junior high gymnast is getting smoked.
Because I'm like, you're thinking about all the technique and stuff.
That's fair.
That
That's
it requires. Like, imagine them trying to do the fucking vault.
Again, oil starts leaking out. That's the button on all of it.
Right? As they try to do the balance beam, floor
That
routines.
balance beam. I think they could do real well at.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Are you kidding
These
me?
things can.
What about
there's
the
no way.
videos where there's the dude trying to knock the robot over and he can't knock the damn thing over?
There's a
Like,
big
they
difference
are-
between trying to knock a robot over and having a robot do a programmed routine on a very thin balance beam.
I don't know, man. I think it'd be easier. Like you and I are debating this as if we have any knowledge on
I know.
one way or the other. But I
to,
think
to
it'd
have
be
it
way
standing in
easier.
place and be like knock it over and it fixes itself, that's
Sure.
one thing. But then put it on that what is it, that 4-inch beam?
4-inch, yeah.
And be like, okay, now go do stuff.
Yeah.
The
Pommel horse. How's it going to do a pommel horse?
Yeah, right. It's like
Right.
Maybe
And the floor-
maybe the rings. Maybe the rings it could do. Like
The rings or the high bar.
high
Not
bar,
not the uneven bars.
Yeah, high bar could maybe. Yeah, I don't
The
know.
parallel bars they could.
Just
Because that's just setting them on a track, so they're just flipping up around the right. I think there's little
Yeah.
desk toys that do that.
yeah. I think what is it, like just rifling or shooting? Archery. That could be
Archery,
maybe decent
yeah.
at.
They could definitely targeting like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Any
I think
equestrian
most
sport.
track
I would love
events,
to.
they would fail.
I would love to see him breakdance.
breakdance.
Go up
right.
against ray gun. Come on,
Equestrian.
that'd be fun.
They truly do a bad robot, which would be hilarious. Humans do better robots than them. That just sounds racist, is what that sounds like.
That would be. That might break their programming. They might
yeah,
not be able to figure that out.
Wrestling, I think that might be decent. It'd be hard to wrestle with one of them.
I think we'd be in trouble with wrestling.
Wrestling would be tough. Trying to
Yeah.
take them down, especially if they don't really, they ignore their programming. They're like, oh my God, no, like
Snap.
yeah. Because
Oil starts leaking
they
out.
also don't get tired. So, that's a real
bingo,
problem in wrestling. People get tired. It's like, this thing is not getting tired.
Well, let me ask you this then. If we got to the point where robots were competing with humans, then would we have to make it fair? Would we have to program in some sort of tired program, like some sort of calculation that says, with X number of effort that you put out, then your power decreases by this percent or something? Would you have to bake that in, or are you saying that when the robots get to that point and they compete against us in the Olympics, that they are competing with they never get tired? Their endurance
we'd have to
is
consider
nonstop.
that at some point, because that obviously, if you're doing like long distance races and you get them the ability to run, stay in their lane and stuff like
a
that,
marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But especially, I'm thinking of like something like the 400-meter dash or something like that. Right. Like a lot of that it's obviously endurance, it's speed, it's power and everything like that to be able to go really, really fast. And so like, if it's able to do that, you can just be like, go, and it just goes like, there's probably limitations to how fast it can go based on friction and it's however that stuff works, but they can obviously improve on that over time. It's like a new world record set by the droid, Gamma Bot,
right?
And it would take a lot of effort to get that to happen, but I think it'd be boxing.
I'll be super.
Boxing
Oh my
would be
god,
battle bots.
I'll tell you this. I want to see for the first round of that, right? For the first the first showing, I want to see Jake Paul get in the ring with the battle bot.
There you go.
That
when he's 65 years old.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When he's past his prime, it's like, now fight this robot, you fucking douchebag. For all the money, take it. He's like,
I'll be real bummed.
What do you think about legacy? What do you think about legacy? And he's like, legacy is just something that people like to throw around. It doesn't mean anything. It's cool. I'm getting paid a lot of money. Yeah. What do you think? The robot v human Olympics. Would you want to see it? Where do you think the humans would succeed? Where do you think the robots would succeed? Let us know in those comments. We'd love to hear more about it. All right. I think we got to talk about man's penis freezes to ground outside Fort McMurray pub. I think that we just got to talk about that.
It's one of those stories that you just hate to hear about.
Yeah.
It's just a bummer for this guy.
Yeah. So this is in Alberta, Canada. By the way, this whole headline is hilarious. Northern exposure. Man's penis freezes to ground outside Fort McMurray pub. The subheading is, the city has been called a sausage fest by critics. And then they have an image that says a rendering of Fort McMurray penis freezing incident. This is clear. Oh, it does say AI from X. I knew it. Before I even saw that tag, I go, this is totally AI because this guy's legs are facing the wrong way. The fact that they would even use this
is bizarre. Yeah.
Is bizarre.
Because the thing is, take the legs, take the feet out of it, and you could possibly maybe make the argument that this was, it's a pretty decent pair. But then you look at it and you're like, well, he's got bigger problems than his penis sticking to the ground because his legs are both very broken.
Yeah. His legs are facing up. His toes are facing up and he's laying face down. I'm like, that's a problem. That's just bad journalism as far as I'm concerned. But apparently in Fort McMurray, an intoxicated man was involved in a dispute that initially took place inside the East Village Pub and Eatery, and the argument spilled into the street and a fight broke out. During the altercation, the man's pants fell down. As he tumbled to the ground, his penis became stuck to the sidewalk due to the frigid temperatures. EMS managed to detach the man's penis from the ice without injury or inadvertent circumcision. Ooh, nice way to call him out that he was not circumcised. He was arrested, but not charged with any crime.
I like that this scene plays out like a cartoon. Like this is something you would see in The Simpsons or Family Guy.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of questions logistically. Your pants fall down. I haven't been in a fight in my life. Also never been drunk. So not an expert on this subject.
Doug, ask me what you want to know.
My pants do get a little loose from time to time. I often wear belts. But when my pants fall down, usually my underwear doesn't come with it.
That's if you're wearing underwear.
True. Fair point. Fair dinkum. So that's very possible this guy was not wearing underwear.
This guy's been underwear free since 93.
Fighting, there you go. Obviously, I mean, it needs to be a little bit of condensation in order for something like that to stick in the very cold. They always say don't lick an iron pole.
Right.
Because, that shit going to get stuck. But
also maybe just don't lick it for health reasons too.
Among other things.
Among other things.
Among other things.
But
so
yeah, like, why was it so wet?
I have to think it's because, because I'm, and also let's just get really true. I mean, Justin has always said
I would lick the pole.
So I think it's important, that we do document that.
Yes, 100%.
Justin
I
is
would.
going against. You said this in the past,
but
I would. Obviously, if you're fighting, you're getting kind of sweaty. There's probably in the bar. It's probably hot and sweaty in the bar. The heat's
I'll
on.
give you that. Sure.
You're gonna have some swamp nuts. And then
some swamp nuts.
Maybe some duck butter churned in there.
Maybe as they were fighting, maybe a beer got spilled or something. Maybe
Yeah.
a drink got spilled and it went down his pants.
And then he just, hey man, it was negative 25 here the other day. It's pretty cold. So
yeah. And this is Alberta, baby.
yeah, you get a little bit of swamp nuts, and then you fall on the ground. That shit's sticking.
Shit gonna happen. Well, also, did he fall onto? Well, I guess if the ground was frozen, because I'm like, it's concrete. Like, shit doesn't necessarily stick to concrete, but if it's flesh on ice, like if it was a frozen, I suppose
that's an ice skating show I want to go to. Flesh on ice.
Flesh on ice.
It's like a Hellraiser themed show.
That needs to be the title of this episode.
Flesh on ice. Sign me up, Natalie. You want to go see a cool ice skating show? You know what Hellraiser is? Don't look it up.
There's the matinee, and then there's the adult show at night.
Right. There's two different versions. There's just like the Hellraiser one, and there's the sexy Hellraiser one.
Sexy Hellraiser. Pins coming out of everything.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Then let me tell you, those nips, they're gonna be hard.
It's gonna be hard.
Because it's
They
on
put your eye out
ice.
with those things.
Flesh on ice at the Rosemont Arena. Hit up
Coming
Fogo de
this Christmas.
Chao and then go to Flesh on Ice.
Tickets now available at Ticketmaster.
Yes. Yeah. I this is just, it's so bizarre that this happened. There's not a whole lot else to say other than like, it sucks that happened. It's unfortunate that, they don't say this guy's name, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
But can you imagine like telling that story? First of all, you get in a fight, right?
Yeah.
You get knocked down. That sucks. You try to get back up again, just like Tub Thumper and Chumbawamba said.
Chumbawamba used to say.
And then you're like, I can't get up because my dick's frozen to the ground. You're like, ow, ow. And they're kicking you and you're like, ow, I can't get up, my dick. Oh, they're like, what do you mean your dick? You're like, my dick's stuck. I can't, my dick's frozen to the ground. To come to that realization of like,
Right.
why can't I get up? Why won't my
And
dick
also,
move?
here's the thing too. If you're really drunk, you might not register. You'd be like, I don't know what. Like if you're pulling out, like really pushing yourself up. If you're drunk enough, you don't register things that quick. And like the worst case scenario is you pull real hard and you hear some tearing and then blood.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, yeah, that would be pretty awful. And I guess I'm assuming they had to put pour some warm liquid on there to get it out. That's
They
the only
didn't
way
have
I know.
any, so they all just came around and just spit on it.
They just peed on him. They're like, oh, we're gonna pee on your dick. Hold on a
Right?
second. Lean over to the side while we pee on your dick.
Haktua and spit on that thing.
Oh God. Yeah. And then they're like, we're out of pee. Well, we got lots of spit. When? What a horrible on ice, Flesh on Ice, ladies and gentlemen. Come see it live at the Rosemont Theater.
I'm looking at the TMZ
President's
article
Day
just to see if
weekend.
there's any.
Go get a deal on a mattress and go see Flesh on Ice.
They managed to detach. She was arrested. Sheriff's cops.
Yeah, pretty straightforward article. This is like what 150 words.
Even TMZ doesn't have much more, but it says we're not exactly sure what cops. Exactly sure he. Oh man, what a fucking poor. Did they write? I think TMZ is using AI now to write this shit.
This isn't TMZ. This is from
It was
Western
reported
Standard.
by TMZ originally.
Yeah.
If you click on that link, they pulled it from TMZ. So TMZ's reporting
nice.
says, quote, we're not sure exactly what cops arrested him for or how authorities peeled his penis off the ice, but, comma, it sounds like there's not of the ice dash but, comma. It's
But, comma, my favorite one.
There's too much pause punctuation here. It sounds like there's not too much blistering on his little guy. Of course, hot water is usually the way to unglue a body part from the frozen tundra, though we don't think this guy wants anyone coming at him with a boiling pot. Man, fucking aces, TMZ.
Yeah, keep it up,
Absolute
guys.
aces. Doing the Lord's work over there.
Yeah, way to go.
Jesus.
Well, let us know. Would you go see Flesh on Ice? That's all we want to know.
If Mind Gap toured,
Yeah, Flesh
this
on
is
Ice.
why. FYI, Doug, this is why that eccentric billionaire is having us come do a live show. I told him it's
He's
called.
like,
Flesh
I like
on
your
Ice.
pitch. I like your pitch. I want to
want
fund
more.
this. We're like,
I want to
okay,
see this.
There we go.
Come to my frozen island.
Yes, and pitch us this Flesh on Ice. Yikes! All right,
Doug,
it's game
let's do it.
time.
Pee on me, Daddy.
That's what he said as he's trying to get his dick unstuck. All right, we're back at it where we're going to be guessing the movie from the audio clips, and we got Justin. Justin is back in the limelight, so
Guess who's back?
that's right. I've got 3 clips. One of them I'm not sure you've seen.
All right.
The other 2, pretty confident. I know you've seen. I know you've seen 2 of these.
Okay.
So
you know for a fact I've seen 2 of them.
I know for a fact. So we'll
Okay.
start with this one. Are you ready?
Yes. Is this the one you think I've not seen?
No, I'm gonna save that one for last.
Got it. Okay. All right.
All right, here we go. This is Justin. Can you guess this film from this audio clip?
Count of Monte Cristo
That's Christo, you dumb shit.
by Alexandre Dumas.
Such a great clip. Oh, the writing in that is so good. That's not Walton Goggins, is it?
What?
Is the actor?
Oh, let me take a look. I don't really know the guy's name. It is not.
Okay. All right.
I see what that guy does. Such a great southern. Yeah.
Like kind of, and it's like he can play dumb real well. Like he's such a good actor. But anyway,
So
go ahead.
good.
So play it one more time for me. Play it
Okay,
again.
you got it. Here we go.
Count of Monte Cristo
That's Christo, you dumb shit.
by Alexandre Dumas.
Jesus, man, it's so good.
The clip goes on longer, and I really like it, but I was like, it's too long. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I want to give you more than that, but I'm like,
You don't have the longer version, do you?
I don't, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. So based on let me ask you a few qualifying
Yes.
questions here. Based on the accents, is this a Western flick?
It is not a Western flick.
Okay. Is this a supernatural flick?
It is not.
Okay. That takes out a very, very outside guess.
Takes out 2 movies.
All right, cool. So every other movie is in play. Fuck, man.
We
I'm
have
having a-
we
I'm
have
having
done a
a hard
clip
time-
we've done a clip from this movie on this game before.
Fuck. All
This
right.
movie has been featured before.
What would be really horrible is if it was one of the ones that I played for you and I couldn't even
It's
identify.
not. It's not one of the
Okay.
ones you played for me. Guaranteed.
I'm having a hard time identifying the voices. That's the thing that's catching me up right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Play it for me again.
Sure.
You see, the second voice, I think I almost have.
Interesting.
Count of Monte Cristo
That's Christo, you dumb shit.
by Alexandre Dumas.
So there's technically what you hear.
people.
There's actually 3 people. There's the laugh at the end,
Right.
which if you heard their voice, you'd know exactly what this was.
Okay.
Which is why I also intentionally left them out, because that would be a total giveaway.
Is it Death to Smoochie?
It's. I wish it was. It's just like all.
You just keep.
Hear him out. It says Death to Smoochie. I love it. Actually, it's Death to Smoochie. It's actually the first actor is the one that I think you would know.
The first actor is the one I would know. Okay.
Yeah, the first voice you hear.
Yeah.
Is like
The
Alexander.
first couple words out of their mouth almost sounds like Tom Cruise, but then
It's
after
not Tom Cruise.
Right, but then like once you go further into his line delivery, it's definitely not him.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Oh, this sucks. The Count of Monte Cristo.
Cristo, you dumb shit. Love that line. Love that delivery.
Dumbass. Oh man, this is a tough one, and I feel real bad for not knowing.
I'll give you what the lines are.
Yeah,
After
please.
that, another character
Okay.
says, "Do you know what that book's about?" The first guy goes, "No." He goes, "It's about a prison break. I think you'll like it."
Man, this is so sad. It's about a prison break. I think you'll like it.
Mm-hmm.
About a prison break. I think you'll like. It's not the Shawshank.
It is Shawshank
It's the
Redemption.
Shawshank? Really?
Yep.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wait. Is it okay? Wait, who's the actor?
William Sadler is the one who says
Yes,
Count of
Hold
Monte
on.
Cristo.
I was gonna. Yep, that was I was gonna. That I can see his fucking face now. God damn it.
Yeah. So they're
God
basically getting a bunch
damn
of
it.
free books to set up the library, and they're pulling
Yep.
them out of the boxes, and they're saying different things. And then he pulls one out and he goes, "The Count of Monte Cristo." It's like, Cristo, you dumb shit.
God, so good. Fuck yes, absolutely, 100%.
One of my favorite scenes in that. There's so many good ones from that.
Well
that
done.
film. So good.
Oh,
All right.
well done. All right,
All right.
time for redemption. Here we go.
Here we go. Number 2. Guess this movie.
Get off my plane.
Miscongeniality.
Yes.
Nailed it. No, here's the thing. Now I made the joke, but now I completely blanked on the name of the. It's Harrison Ford, Gary Oldman. Like I know
No credit unless you name the film, Justin.
Oh, son of a bitch. Air Force One.
There it is.
Oh,
There it is. There it is.
Con Air.
You're like, oh, shit.
God damn it. I was like, I made the joke and I fucked myself.
If you're not familiar with what happens, Harrison Ford tells Gary Oldman, get off my plane, pushes him, and then Gary Oldman's neck gets snapped.
Wonderful film.
Yes. Great film.
Just such
It's
a badass.
Yeah, you watch that film now, you're like, wow, lots changed in our politics. Lots changed. It's tough going back and watching those movies. You're like, huh, wow.
Yep.
You're worried about the clear and present danger with like, oh, the scandal of an American president doing a secret war on the drug cartels down in Central America could bring down the administration. We're like, we just hired a guy who's cheated on his wife and has a drinking problem and has paid off people for sexually harassing them. He's now the Secretary of Defense. So, yeah.
Woo!
Woo! Oh, blah, 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 blah. Gen 6 criminals are free. Pew, 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 pew. Anyway, let's go to this last clip from this movie that I don't know if you've seen or not.
All right.
But it's a little longer, but
Okay.
I trimmed it down as much as I could. But
All right, let's hear
here
it.
you go.
We're considered the apex predator, but only because like smaller animals can't feed on us because of weapons and stuff, right? A lion does not feel guilty when it kills a gazelle, right? You do not feel guilty when you squash a fly. And I think that means something. I just think that really means something.
Did you keep that last part in there for a reason?
I did. It's very important.
Okay. It's because it just again
Out
very
of
similar
context,
to-
you're like, what? Is he dead?
very similar to American Psycho. I'm like, okay, did a car crash into a jewelry store? I don't know what just happened there.
Yeah, out of context, you're like, don't know what the fuck just happened.
Nope, that doesn't
But-
help me. You're like, it's very important. I'm like, is it? I don't think it is.
Because I disagree.
Because I disagree. I think someone just knocked over a Coca-Cola display. Okay, we're talking about apex predators. We're talking about is this let's see. See, the thing is, some of the dialogue sounds familiar. Like I feel like I've heard this little monologue before.
Do you know the actor?
It's David Arquette.
It's not David Arquette.
That's Brad Pitt.
It's not Brad Pitt.
Big swings. That's
They were huge swings.
That is Julia Roberts.
That is not Julia Roberts.
Okay, that is Maya Hawke.
Maya Hawk Tua. I'm really
Well played.
sad. As soon as it left my mouth, I'm like, fuck.
Well played.
No, not at all.
Okay, so let's see. Starship Troopers?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Play it again.
We're considered the apex predator, but only because like smaller animals can't feed on us because of weapons and stuff, right? The lion does not feel guilty when it kills a gazelle, right? You do not feel guilty when you squash a fly. And I think that means something. I just think that really means something.
Makes me laugh now because out of context, you're like, what the fuck is that?
I'm like, great. Did someone did R2D2 start up the trash compactor? I don't know what is happening. Someone is ripping the top off of a cargo van. Man, Doug, this one's got me stumped. I feel like I almost concede the character in my head. Like the voice sounds familiar, but I'm blanking on who this could be.
Definitely know you know the actor.
Okay,
for sure.
Is there any clues you can give me before I give up?
The movie came out in 2012.
Okay,
It was directed by Josh Trank.
that means nothing to me.
Okay. It's like
Well done, Josh.
Yeah, this movie kind of put Josh Trank like on the map.
Really?
And then Josh
Is it
Trank,
the day after tomorrow?
the Josh Trank then was kind of on the hot list to then he did the Fantastic Four reboot, which then failed miserably. And I think he was in line to do something with Star Wars, and they're like, get out of here.
Well,
So,
that's fun.
yeah.
Well done.
But this movie,
Okay, 2012.
it's got two very big actors in it. One of whom like really blew up after this, who was also in the Fantastic Four reboot. Is this helping you at all?
Is this Pacific Rim?
It's not Pacific Rim. This is also a found footage film. I don't know if you've seen this, so I'm gonna.
Oh
I'm gonna
wait,
bring
was
to an
this
end.
was this Clover? No, not Cloverfield.
Oh, I think he might be sniffing it out.
What is it? What other found footage film came out? Wait,
Is it this movie?
I'm just trying to think of found footage films. Like Cloverfield. Was Cloverfield the original one?
I think that was one of the first. I think Blair Witch was probably
Blair Witch was like the first. Like that.
Yeah.
That really.
Yeah, Cloverfield was
outside
definitely
of-
another popular one.
Okay. But that wasn't.
This-
Yeah, because I know there was 3 in that franchise. I didn't know if that was I think that was the first one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not that fucking one. Shut up, Justin. God damn it.
All right, the actor is Dane DeHaan.
Okay.
The other actor in this movie that kind of kicked off, Michael B. Jordan.
What found footage movie was Michael B. Jordan in? Jesus fucking Christ, Justin.
Yeah, right.
Ah, man, I don't know. I gotta give up on this one. I'm gonna be pissed.
This is Chronicle.
Fuck.
Have you seen this movie?
Is no. And here's the thing.
I knew
when
it.
this came out, you saw it. I remember, and I wanted to see it badly. I was like, oh, this looks really cool. I think you saw it and you liked it, and you were like, you need to see it. And I like, it was one of those that it always just I always kept forgetting about it when I would rent them, whatever. And to this day, still never seen it, but I still want to. So
very good.
I remember you talking about this a lot when you first went and saw it.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. So is that in the junkyard scene where he crushes the car?
Very good. You remember that from the trailer?
I do. Like, again, I've got vivid memories of us going over the trailer, talking about it, rewatching it, and this and that. But fuck.
He's having that's a very it's a very important part in that film where he has a realization about himself, his powers, and his place in the world. And it's very
Is this
very
kind of
cool.
where he, like, the bad guy is born kind of thing?
Kind of. It's
Yeah.
kind of leading up to a critical point where he's just done some stuff and he's just like, he's like starting to change. And it's a very important moment. So Sorry, I was like, there's a chance he hasn't seen it, but I'm gonna do
That's
it anyway.
all right.
So
That's all right.
that's all right.
Who was the actor again that you said?
Dane DeHaan.
Dane DeHaan. What a name.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy. Okay.
This
yeah, I know this
fucking
guy.
guy over
This
here.
fucking guy. Yeah,
He's a
I know
great
this
fucking
guy.
actor. He's so good.
Okay.
He's so good.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Well, let us
okay.
know. Did you all get them all, everybody? Are you
Hope you did.
movie audio expert? Because if so, congratulations. Well done. Well
Fuck,
done.
man.
You take a little trip in Doug's brain about the things he remembers from fucking movies and shit. Well done. Justin, what do you got to recommend this week?
Doug, I'm going to recommend a independent film that I believe I gotta see if this is yes, I believe it is on Amazon Prime. So you can seek it out and watch it. It is called Hundreds of Beavers. Now, this came out last year. I think it came out 2022, but it didn't really catch until last year is when everyone was talking about it. It's screened up here in Grand Rapids at our indie film theater, and I saw it. I'm like, it's going to be one of those weird indie films. I don't know. Everyone in the film community up here was talking about it. They were super excited, a lot of buzz. And then as soon as it got done screening, I started seeing it popping up on every like indie website and news art. Like it took off. And I was like, what the fuck? I missed the boat on this. So they just screened it again. I was like, I'm not missing it. And I went and saw it. And I got to say, I was very, very pleased. Very, very pleased. So it's a silent film. A drunken Applejack salesman must go from zero to hero and become North America's greatest fur trapper by defeating hundreds of beavers. They shot this on a budget of $150,000.
Dang.
The crew was like 6 deep. And I think at any given time, they ordered, so all the beavers and animals that he's facing off against are in basically like big furry costumes, and so they're life size. They don't go through any any pains to make it look like he's actually after animals. So it's a silent film comedy, very much in line with the Three Stooges or Buster Keaton or anything of that era. The thing that impressed me the most was that a lot of the special effects and stuff that they did were very much like of that time, like painted scenery and green screen tricks and things like it looks like a movie that came out of the 1930s. It's bonkers. Humor is definitely there. I would say if you have the opportunity to go see it in the theater, do that, because being in a theater full of people when you're all laughing at the same thing enhances it so much. The only criticism I'll give it, just know it is just under 2 hours. And I think you could shave off, without trying, I think you could shave off a half hour from this thing. If you got this thing to like 70, 80 minutes, I think that'd be the sweet spot. So it runs a little long, but I think this is if you were a fan of like what can be done on a shoestring budget, if you just really like film, this is a great example. So I would definitely say check out Hundreds of Beavers.
Also
Doug,
heard criticism. Beavers' dicks not above average.
Oh no,
So,
no.
just
no,
noted.
very much not.
Just noted.
Not like a duck.
Not like
Duck
a duck.
sticks in the animal kingdom. Duck sticks slap.
Corkscrews. Look out.
Corkscrews and wine bottles. Here we go.
That's right. I should have recommended this weeks ago because it came out weeks ago, but the new single from Potion Seller, Jim Scary, available now on Spotify. Very good. Highly recommend. Obviously, we are big fans of Potion Seller. Austin Reno, he's the best. All those guys in that band are wonderful. But
sir.
yeah, they released their own single, and it's fantastic. So go check that out. Make yourself a wonderful day and enjoy that song. So
Love it.
Hoorah. Thank you all for tuning in. And, I guess follow us on social media. Why not? At MindGap Podcast.
While we still have it, Doug and I are going to discuss. Might be
Technically it's still
Instagram
there.
account down. Yeah.
I mean, it's still there, but whatever. And technically our TikTok is still there, but I ain't posting on there. So, because I can't put it back on my phone. But whatever. More importantly, check out our Discord. Link is in the description at youtube.com/MindGapPodcast. Like and subscribe, and check the links to our Discord, like I said, to our merch, to our Patreon. Support us there. Share us around. We'd really appreciate it. And be sure to check out Justin online as well, because he still fucking exists. Fucking
Right.
coward.
For now, you can follow me on Instagram at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's a fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the online realm, anywhere where you can find and consume audio podcasts, be it Spotify or Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Good Pods, any of those places, you can find us as well. Do us a big favor. Share or subscribe first, and then share, review, rate, all those things. Big one is sharing. Just send a link either from those platforms or from YouTube. Send this link to someone. Just let them know that we exist and that you kind of enjoy the show and you think they might too. It goes a long way. And then 2east8th.com, 2east8th on all social media, loveanimprovfilm.com, and loveanimprovfilm on Instagram. Again, for now.
Hoorah! And with that, I will say, Justin, thank you.
Douglas, thank you.
Listeners, viewers, thank you. And you all have a dandy fucking week.
Mind Gap Podcast.